Wonderful. So, on today's episode of Work and Creepy TikToks, we get to react together to a whole variety of extremely interesting videos, all with the intentions of spreading love, peace, honesty, and forgiveness. I am YD11H, straight out of Africa, with lots of good vibes. Let's dive in.
The ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where aren't we right now? I like how that Earth is meeting the glacier. See that interesting shape?
Oh wow, yeah.
What planet is this? Just take a photo picture.
I'm just mesmerized. I've never seen terrain like this.
It's so insane, isn't it? How? Because this is right at the edge of it. Pools of water.
Ice, like cold. I don't even know what. Oh man, the ice below us is. That's like the Grand Canyon of ice.
Yep.
Just like blown away, looking up at the walls and the peaks next to us.
Not like nothing you've ever seen, huh?
Nothing like nothing.
It blows away anything we've seen so far.
Just like blown away, looking up.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's right over my house. Why isn't the sirens going off?
We're gonna have the sirens soon.
Josh, why aren't the sirens going off?
We're going down the sirens soon. All those up there.
Babe, why isn't the siren going off? Because they're not falling here?
They're chasing them. Have you got videos?
Oh my god, oh my god.
This is the world's oldest active gymnast who will be turning 99 years old this year. And if hearing that isn't impressive enough, wait until you see what she's capable of doing on the high bar. Fair warning, she might make you feel terrible about yourself. Johanna Quaz was born in Germany in 1925 and competed in her first competition at the age of 10. Gymnastics was her passion, but when she was 11, Germany put an end to that because they required social service work for girls during World War II, so she took care of another family's children. Once the ban on gymnastics was removed in 1947, she began coaching and competing, and she hasn't stopped ever since and still competes to this day. Turns out there are senior gymnastic competitions, but Johanna is the oldest competitor by far. She does the floor exercise, the balance beam, parallel bars, and the high bar. Even though she's been competing for 88 years, she says she still gets nervous before every competition. Oh, and she also skydives. Johanna says if you are fit, it's easier to master life.
Hello, it's May 2024. Welcome to video 336. There is, to say the least, a lot going on, and no one's talking about what's behind everything that's happening. And yet it's actually quite simple. It's all about the money. And time is running out faster than you think. The fake pandemic, the damaging lockdowns, the crazy obsession with a toxic vaccine that was never properly tested doesn't work and is now the cause of an epidemic of heart disease and a deluge of cancer cases. The insane social distancing, the absurd and dangerous mask wearing, faked statistics created with a deadly PCR test that never worked, the utterly unscientific global obsession with an imaginary global warming, a collapsing global economy with soaring inflation that's now endemic, the drive towards World War III with NATO using Ukraine as the battleground for a proxy war with Russia, and supplying Israel with bombs and bullets as its false flag attack and ethnic cleansing program continues to appall the world. The taunting of China over Taiwan, and now a planned global euthanasia program heavily promoted by a compliant and unquestioning media which is designed to encourage the poor, the sick and the mentally ill to sign up for doctor-assisted suicide. All around the world, people are being signed up to promote euthanasia, just as Greta was used by the media to promote climate change. Incidentally, if you're wondering why Biden and Sunak seem particularly enthusiastic about forcing us into World War III, there's a simple answer. Both will be fighting elections this year, both are behind in the polls, and both know that when there's a war, the government usually gets re-elected. It was, of course, because of this that Margaret Thatcher started the Falklands War. To the ignorant and the innocent, it must look as if we're living in an unusual and exceptional time of turmoil with everything happening all at once. But we know that nothing is happening by accident. You and I know that it's all planned, and it's all about money. It's not about COVID-19 and it's not about climate change. They're just weapons. It's really all about money because the money has run out. No one under the age of 55 is ever going to receive a pension unless they have a corporate or private pension, and many corporate pensions are vulnerable and politicians are talking about confiscating private pensions. No one under 55 working for a government or council can expect to receive the pension they think they've been promised and told to expect. Most pensions and all state pensions are Ponzi schemes, of course, are stuffed. They always have been. Today's pensioners receive their pensions from today's workers. There's no pot of money put aside to pay tomorrow's pensioners. In a few decades' time, or even less, the streets are going to be clogged with men and women in their 60s, 70s and beyond who will be literally begging for food. When winter comes, they will freeze to death. Every evening, official death wagons will drive through the streets with robots, picking up dead bodies and taking them away to be burnt. And those to whom 55 seems a long way distant should be aware that the employment prospects of anyone over the age of 35 is poor. The cut-off age for the human junkyard gets lower and lower each year. In China, now the training ground for social credit policies, the over 35s are being fired by tech firms because they're regarded as being too old. And the Chinese civil service doesn't want employees over 35 either. The argument is that the aging process is well underway at 30, and parenthood slows people down. The real reason for this new policy is, of course, to prepare people for expanding euthanasia programs. Unemployment and poor health go hand in hand, and with no pension to look forward to, the over 35s will be a ready market for the euthanasia programs now being introduced around the world. If you work for a government or for Google or for the BBC, you doubtless think I'm exaggerating. You probably think you've got a solid gold pension waiting for you. If you work in a high echelon position at the CIA, then you know I'm not exaggerating, but you won't dare agree with me because you're paid to sneer and demonize and to lie. But look at the facts. Governments in the US, the UK, Canada, Australasia and the EU have been overspending for years, and now they're bust. They've been printing money and spending it for years, and government debts have gone through the roof. America's debt is rising by $1 trillion every 100 days. If the government puts up interest rates, the cost of its debt will rise. If they bring down interest rates, then inflation will take off. America's national debt is now so high that within 5 years, half of every dollar paid in tax will go towards paying the interest. Within a decade, every penny paid in tax, every penny will go towards helping to pay the interest. There won't be any money at all left for healthcare, schools, road buildings or anything else. And long before that happens, the bond markets will collapse and interest rates will soar, making everything worse. The American dollar will collapse as more money is printed and essential spending is cut. Remember, I warned you about inflation and rising interest rates years before anyone else. This is a global problem. It's why euthanasia is being promoted so enthusiastically. Benefits paid to the sick are unaffordable, so the sick will either be invited to kill themselves or they'll be killed on hospital wards, as is already happening. And it's why politicians are constantly pushing up the retirement age. In the UK, there's a £46 billion black hole threatening pensions, and it's already been suggested in the House of Lords in London that the pension age be raised to 75. Everywhere, all around the world, government debt's risen to unsustainable levels. There are going to be defaults, bankruptcies, recessions, depressions, hyperinflation and wars we can't afford to fight. And of course, It's not the cost of providing healthcare for the elderly, which is really worrying the conspirators. Big problem though that is, it's the cost of providing pensions and benefits, which is the big problem. In the UK, the world's premier provider of socialist state-managed healthcare, the cost of providing healthcare has been cut by simply not providing any proper healthcare. GPs are paid $150,000 a year for 24-hour working weeks, just as farmers are being paid not to farm. Strikes are encouraged and waiting lists are so long that unless you're a member of the royal family, you have no chance of being diagnosed, let alone treated. It was always all about the money. They've been working towards the manufactured chaos we're living through for some years now. They need to terrify people, they need to bring in new laws, and they need to kill a lot of people. Billions, as I warned you about 4 years ago. Back in the 1980s, they tried to introduce AIDS as a weapon. It failed because they tried to oversell it too quickly. And a young media doctor called Coleman, who had columns and TV shows in those days, destroyed the government's arguments. Attempts to use swine flu and bird flu were clumsily managed and failed. But the coronavirus hoax, which remarketed the flu and which gave us the COVID-19 fake pandemic, was better planned. All around the world, doctors and media operatives were bought. The deadly, inadequately tested toxic vaccine will kill millions. The wars they're encouraging will kill millions. Millions will die of the cold and the starvation. The killing programs are well underway. Euthanasia is, in a way, their final solution, and they're going to find ways, such as impoverishing people, terrifying people, reducing services such as healthcare, in order to push people into signing up to the euthanasia programs. They're already using euthanasia to kill people who are depressed or poor. See my previous video, They Want to Kill Us All, if you find this difficult to believe. It's happening, really. And now the screw is being tightened, and most people are either unaware of the threat or they're too busy worrying over trivial side issues to notice what's happening. You need to plan. I'm not selling gold or survival rations, but you need to think how you'll live in a world where everything's going to get much worse in every way. You need to be aware that your government is fast running out of money and that the nanny state you may have been encouraged to trust in is going to betray you. Can we stop them? Of course we can. If we fight hard enough, we can stop them by sharing the truth with as many people as possible. Most people still don't realize how close we are to the end of life as we know it, or used to know it. Right from the start, this war has been about information. It was always a propaganda war. The conspirators bought the media and they demonized and lied about free-thinking truth-tellers. TV and radio stations and newspapers became propaganda vehicles.
Oh, what's up with the good vibes down here under the dog?
This cube may blow your mind. It's called the Yoshimoto cube, and it can turn from silver to gold, and then it can turn into two perfectly identical star balls. And then it can do the most perplexing thing. Each star ball can turn into a cube the exact same size as the original Yoshimoto cube. Now comes the toughest part, putting it back together. You'll want to first create two star ball halves like this, and then you'll want to create a star ball holder. Now, the satisfying part, putting the star ball halves into the star ball holder, just like this. Then you close it up, and then continue till it's silver. Now, the tough question, do you think you could put it back together on your own?
Poo-poo in my pants, Daddy.
There is a very rarely encountered
mantis in this rose bush behind me. Take a look. This is a Mediterranean conehead mantis, named after their cone-shaped head. They're not often seen in the wild because they're super shy and cryptic. Their color and shape camouflage well in vegetation. Their movements even mimic branches swaying in the wind.
Oh wow. Did dragons caught on camera? Dragons. Oh my god. Look at this. Is this a dragon or a snake with some fantastic head there? And then there's this one also. In the ocean or in the seas. This is unbelievable. My friends, do you think these are dragons? This one was caught by some fisherman guy in Scotland. It's crazy. Look at this one, which was also found in South Africa. Oh, some big skeletons of what looks like a dragon. Do you think there was a time these things ever existed, my friends? Oh, wow. Look there in the sky, in the clouds. Looks like there is a creature behind the clouds there. And it's visible when there is some lightning. Oh my god, this is insane. Unbelievable stuff. Dragon caught eating a wall. Hey, I didn't know they feed on stones. Look at this actual mermaid caught on camera in Australia. Wow. Hey, my friends. Good people over there watching from Australia. Do you guys know there was some mermaids caught by these good vibes guys here on this footage? You look closely. Tell me what you think this might be. Or is some guy there in a weird type fish
Cryogenically
swimming
frozen
costume?
human brain works perfectly fine when thawed 18 months later. What the heck does that mean? Cryogenics programs have been around since around the 1960s, where people have immersed their bodies in liquid nitrogen in hopes of waking up at a future date when medical technology has advanced. But it still remains mostly out of reach. In fact, the bodies of people who have been cryogenically frozen have started to degrade. This is through a combination of just poor storage and the human's body's intolerance to being frozen. I would say in every single case of someone who has cryogenically frozen their body, they're not going to wake up. However, that doesn't mean we won't get there soon. There's many animals that can be entirely frozen and then wake up in the next season when they thaw. That's because they have bioprotectants naturally in their bodies. And by borrowing these animals' techniques, we're working on making better cryoprotectants for humans. And we've done it with the brain organoids. You know, the tiny human brains that we can grow in jars. Growing tiny, fully functional human brains is really advancing neurological research. In this case, they flooded it with the cryoprotectant and then revived it, and it suffered no damage. At least no noticeable damage. While a future where we can really just walk into a cryogenic chamber and wake up 1,000 years later is pretty far out of reach. In the next few decades, we might actually get there. So we recently found out that plants scream when they're being damaged, but are they sentient? And for that matter, are robots sentient? Buckle up because it's going to get real weird in here. First off, yes, plants are sentient. All life is sentient. That is the ability to perceive your environment and react to it. When it comes to things like cognition, that's a different question. Are they having conscious thoughts? Now, be aware that plants and bacteria also have memory. They encounter stresses and they can react more quickly when they encounter them again. This is a very different question than consciousness. Consciousness, as we know it, is the perception of self. One of the famous experiments is putting a dot on an animal's forehead, having them look in a mirror and see if they wipe it off, showing that they perceive their reflection as them and not another animal. The ability to recognize oneself in a mirror varies between animals and even within individuals. By the way, yes, penguins can be self-aware. The argument against robotic sentience is they're simply executing lines of code. But right now, scientists are working on incorporating the little human brain organoids, which are tiny human brains grown from stem cells, into robotics. And I think when we're talking about a living thing, the question of sentience and consciousness is not if, but when. There's also the question of whether or not we are actually making conscious decisions, or we only think that we are. Our decisions are based on a complex combination of instinct that is pre-coded into us and memories which have shaped our interactions with the world. This goes into a much larger and more complicated question of whether or not free will exists. What do you think?
Oh, leave your thoughts on that. And then there's what's going on here. Some good vibes guy is being applied makeup. Maybe for some movie stuff or something like that. Oh my god. And but the man here changed completely. He now looks like one of those aliens in movies. My god. How is this possible? Oh, this makeup is unbelievable. Look, you might think that is his normal head. Wonderful artworks. It's unbelievable stuff. And in other places of the world, some good vibes guy here is still the same guy. He's eating pizza. Or what do you call that thing? Oh, that's some meditation bell from Tingta or that place. And then in other places of the world, in some field there, some guys saw what they think is a unicorn. My friends, do you think these are real creatures? Or is fake stuff? Leave your comments, man. Oh, look at these weird creatures. Cambodia, weird creatures from the past. Oh my god. What? Now how do you call this? Hey, it looks like a bear or wow, 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 wow. My god, my god. Look at this creature. Oh, it is out there in the woods, minding its own business. Oh, what is it doing to that humans? My god. Oh, good people over. Are these real stuff? Look at the footprints of that stuff, how they look like. Aye, my god. Oh, look at this creature. My god, my god. It is covered by fur in its whole body. No need for clothes. Ah, yeah. How did it reach on the mountain's top? Well, that's where they live. This is crazy stuff. Wonderful people of Earth, have you ever seen such kind of creatures? Secret tallest mountain discovered in some place here. Allegedly, my friend, this is the tallest mountain. Look at how it looks like. Oh, it's insane, unbelievable. Oh, it looks like some block of stones that was just lifted from the ground. And it's insane. You might wonder how comes you have never heard of this mountain. What's the name of this one now, my friends, if you know of it? Where is it even located? Oh my god. What's up with the colors in it there? Oh man, this is unbelievable stuff. What material is this? Is this normal stones? Why does it have that type of color? Oh my god, it looks like glass or something like that. Wow. Every day we come across something interesting here. Something new and mind-blowing that we didn't see or saw before. Hit the like button and watch till the end, please. You see? And another guy zoomed in on some place here using Google Earth. And my friends, this good vibes guy here came across this what looks like an island. Now, is this an island? Oh my god. And then you can see inside the island. What is going on here? Wow, my god. This is how it looks like there. Oh, this is insane. How is this even possible? Look, there's even some flag there. Looks like there are people that live there. Oh, this is unbelievable. Good people of Earth, do you know which country's flag that is? Hey, leave your comments if you do or if you come from there. Look at the clouds there. Looks like there's some floating creature there in the sky. This is very weird. How did that creature get there? Oh, it's a robot. This guy used to flip them until he learned that they flip themselves. Oh, when you are cooking this from this side of the world, we call them mandazis. There's no need for you to flip them. When they get cooked on the other side, they flip themselves. Oh, did you know that?
This is a cryptid that is seen more and more lately, and it's being called the hot dog cryptid because that's what she looks like. She looks like an Oscar Mayer wiener hot dog. See that?
Huh. Weird stuff. Weird, extremely weird. Just Testing the 50-year-old mercury arc rectifier. How? This one looks interesting. Extremely.
That
Arc
would
rectifier.
stops it coming forward, and this one stops it going back. So the whole thing can't go anywhere. See that mercury sloshing around? I think we should power it up. So the little bit in the bottom there is the exciter, and we get that to dip in the mercury. There's a little magnetic thing there. Normally a solenoid goes on that, but if I put this magnet on it, that will pull that into the mercury like this, look, and that sets it off. So that's what gets a few mercury atoms flying around, and once that happens, obviously then we'll start conducting on these anodes back to a transformer. So to start it, it's quite straightforward. 240 volts, 38 volts, something like that, 30, 38, into a rectifier, through these resistors, through this choke, which gives a nice kickback, and that's all what runs it. That's my phone, I apologise. So I'm plugging this circuit in. Now we're going to start it. Excitation. Now main power from this lot. There we go. Excitation off. That's the transformer there making some noise. So the power supply side is all this nonsense. As I say, it's an 11 kV split phase transformer, which the National Grid would normally use, but it's handy because it's split phase. That down the bottom is the output. These two would be the anodes going in. The primary of this transformer is only being fed by this one. It's 100 amps. So with a pile of transformers. Sounds nice though, doesn't it? But more importantly, doesn't that look nice? I could watch that all day. Better than TV, isn't it? You've got to be mad to have one of these in your living room. Don't get many shots like that. Normally these things are all behind a screen and you can't even get close to it. There's me touching it. Like a giant plasma ball. Good. Might be better when the light's off though, really. Don't know. That's the transformer back then. There's a bit of magnetic field over there. There's the box it came in.
Oh, it really does look interesting. Science is great. Weirdest rocket launch you have ever seen. Myself, I've ever seen none. But today we'll get to witness this one through this video. Oh, wait till you see it, my friends. This rocket pierces through the firmament. You see? Just see. Watch closely. And this is how it begins its journey towards space. Or where do you think it is going upwards? Huh? Heaven? Leave your comments. Oh, this is crazy, my friends. You see? Just thinking how humans can make stuff that can go up, even reach space. It's crazy, my friends. You see? Extremely crazy. What type of fuel does this thing even use? Hey, this is crazy. Oh, it produces one very big flame. What is the combustion now of the gases going on there inside that stuff? I don't know. Anyway, let's look closely. You see? Hopefully we'll see what? Yeah, wait, look, my friends. It's like there is a hole there in the sky and wow. What is that looks like water above us? It's crazy. How could that have happened? Oh, wait a minute, my friends. What did that rocket do to the clouds?
Were you